waves and microwaved them, and it was like things that would explode. I did shotgun shells, bullets, I did spray paint cans. A lot of times there'd be fires and stuff coming out of it, and my daughter Hope and I would do like the setup, like, oh, this time we're doing CO2 cartridges, and people acted like I was the devil. But when I see these 12-year-olds doing product reviews and such, and it's professionally done and such, it's like these are real child actors. I guess it's not bad. I don't know what to make of it, but it's definitely like someone's pulling the strings there.
Money, let them do it.
Well, I was thinking like DC Toys is like a woman's hands, and it's just her hands like opening up like little toys. It's like a trip, and it has like 28 million views. And sometimes like I look at some videos, and like, you know what? One thing I rarely ever do is I never go and I'll never look at another YouTuber and I'll be like, shit content, you're garbage. You know, I'm always like, I look at it, if I don't like it, I'm like, maybe I'm too old. Like, that's where I got to. I got to that point where I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, this isn't shit. Just whatever is good and whatever is shit to me doesn't matter anymore. There's a new standard or whatever. But like, I look at some videos and it's not like I bash the art of it or whatever. I'm just always like, how the fuck does this? Like,
I know, it's like
example.
The PewDiePie effect. Like, I tried, and I realized it's for younger people, but I also feel the way you do, where it's like, how the fuck is this as big as it is?
Imagine me.
PewDiePie, I gotta say, PewDiePie, check out YouTube Academy. It's the first thing I've ever watched of his where I was like, this is hilarious. Like, it was like, he has like 3 episodes, and I'm like, I love this. I'm like, this is funny to me. I'm like, look at me. I'm like, I'm fucking hip. I'm like watching a PewDiePie video and enjoying myself. I'm like, I get the kids these days. But his YouTube Academy ones are good. And he did a couple vlogs, and his vlogs were really funny also.
I like PewDiePie, the guy. I don't know him, but based on what I've seen, I like his Vanity Fair interviews, and some of the times when he talks about money, or he did a video about turning off comments and stuff. And I like that stuff a lot. His mainstream content that everybody likes, I don't hate it at all. Just like you, I just say I'm not his demo. I bet if PewDiePie were to somehow run across this, he'd be like, "Yeah, that's a 42-year-old dad. Like, that's not my demo." You know, it is what it is.
And a perfect example also is like, I find Roman Atwood vlogs very interesting. He has one that he did like this past summer where he's like, "Yo, it's a 360-degree vlog. You know, check it out."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I saw that.
And
I think
it has 15 million views, and like I look at that and I'm like, "Oh my god." Like, you put up a fucking 360 video camera in the middle of your living room and you got 15 million views. That's like what I got paid as a teacher working full time, and you fucking post it up in your living room. I look at stuff like that and I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, top Viners? Some serious knowledge.
Yeah, they make a ton, don't they?
A top Viners integrated Vine can sell for $70,000 to $100,000. So, like, you see your favorite Viner, and he's like, ba-da-ba, Smarties, That 6 seconds was $80K in his pocket. And maybe he paid, like, a couple other Viners $1,000 to $5,000 to revine it, just to pump it up a bit. But, like, that's ultimately, like, he's netting, you know, what I made a full year as a teacher in, like, 1 6-second video, like, shooting Smarties in his mouth or whatever.
The money...
You know, it's just...
The money can be crazy. I have, you mentioned teachers. I have a couple of relatives who are teachers, and it often sinks home with me. Like usually I don't make it in a thing, but I'll have like a weekend or something that's like, ah, shit, this weekend was a teacher's annual salary. Like that's crazy.
It is. It's a wild thing, and that's what always puts things in perspective for me. And I also, you know, I work very close with, you know, my brother's my partner, and he's not on the show, and he's got a family, so like it's like all very grounding. Like, I'm fortunate in the sense that I'm like, man, if Epic Mealtime blew up for me 2 years before even, I'd be a fucking idiot. I would have been such a moron, you know? I'm kind of lucky where it happened to me in my life. And, you know, I kind of surround myself with good people, so it all ends up, all in all, being a good thing. But, you know, I always think about how close I could have been to fucking this up.
Dude, there in the gaming community, there are a lot of people who you see just blow money on like amazing cars or drugs or, you know, and it's like these guys got too rich too early in their life and now it's gone. And I think they'll look back forever and be like, wow, now I have a 30-year mortgage on a $250,000 house that I pay off month after month after month. I shuffle money around. It's like so hard. Whereas I made $250 in 2 months, you know, back in the day. And now I'm spending a lifetime.
Some of those stories are like legitimately sad of those people who were like all-stars when we first started getting paid for machinima with our like not great CPMs, but half decent. And they were huge, making like at $30,000 a week. And now you go to their channel and it's like they're getting 7,000 views a video. They've lost everything, and every video is like a 10-minute long segment of how they're gonna get back on track with uploading and like, hey, just coming back to, you know, this time's for real. I got plans for these series.
Are you talking about X-Jaws? You just described X-Jaws.
There's a couple more, but
yeah,
it's sad. I don't know him very well.
But I thought,
were you thinking of that one?
I ran into him actually not too long ago, but didn't he like just stop? Wasn't he like, yo, I'm out of the game, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to work behind the scenes on stuff?
There's more to it than that. Kyle knows the whole story. I'm sure Woody does too.
I don't want to like throw his business all out there, but you know, he tried to do other things. He tried to make money. I know he was doing a thing where he was trying to like represent like real celebrities like Bieber and other rappers and stuff like on social media. Be like a social media advisor, if you will, or something like that.
Soulja Boy. I met him. I would go to Soulja Boy's house and he would be there sometimes.
Well, and you know, I think
what a weird thing. That see him there, like,
right?
It wasn't like, what are you doing here? It was like kind of like I was like, what are we doing here? I actually, for the life of me, cannot remember why I was at Soulja Boy's house.
That's okay. Neither can Sam. So things, you know, and Sam's like 10 years younger than us, even. Like, so like. He was just way too young to be sucked into that, and I think it, you know, the vices got the better of him, and he got a little out there and started getting into some nonsense, and he really got a little loopy there at the end. I'm sure he's fine now. I bet he's gotten back grounded, and he's.
I saw him not too long ago. He looked great. He looked very healthy and everything.
That's good.
Not anything that I could say. I don't, you know, I don't know him. I forget where I saw him recently, but it was in the last like 2 months. But you know, I have this thing like. I see people going on their social media, their YouTube, whatever, and being like, yeah, you know, I'm out, the game, blah, blah, or I'm going to do this, that. And I, like, you know, not anyone specific, but I have a general thought of many people. And this was something that, like, I remember watching YouTube in, you know, 2006, 2007, 2008, like, so early, and watching, and I'd be like, man, people watch this. You can get that. That's so crazy. And I did, like, so many channels before Epic Mealtime. And then when Epic Mealtime happened, I was so like, I'm going to cherish this thing. This thing is so valuable. And this number of subscribers, not in a competitive manner, is important to me in the sense that these are all the people that have clicked for me. Like, I got to give them something. And I'm so lucky that this many people ever once or want to, or that there's a percentage of this people that still, or anything, I'm just going to cherish it. And when I see people like, you know, be like, oh yeah, I'm done with YouTube, I'm kind of like, how could you? You know, or even someone on Vine, if they're not doing their Vine, I'm like, how could you? Like, so many people, do you know how lucky you are that you have this, and how many, there's like there's, you know, you have, you know, X million followers, subscribers, or whatever, or likes, and, you know, there's 10 times million more people that want what you have. And like, you have it, and so to change up, it's like whatever you're doing, I almost feel like if you've made the commitment to social media, whatever you're doing, or wherever you're going to go in your life, like, bring them with you. Let them see, let them do whatever, you know, like, I was thinking of that girl who just, you know, her Instagram, she came out and she was like, yeah, this picture, I took it 1,000 times to make sure it looked good. You know what I'm talking about? That girl, she deleted her Instagram and stuff. Oh, there was this girl, I'd never heard of her, but she was an influencer on Instagram with like 600,000 followers. And she was like, I'm deleting my YouTube and all my blah, blah, blah. And she deleted her Snapchat and everything. And she has all these subscribers and everything. And then she went back on all her Instagram photos and changed the caption to be like, where it was like day at the beach, she changed it to like, I took 100 pictures this day, making sure my stomach looked perfect, and, you know, the insecurities that it gave me, and blah, blah. And she was kind of like, social media is the devil.
So like passive aggressive
I don't think
pandering
so.
and trying to get attention. Because she brought it all back in the end and made a bunch of money. I've heard that story, right?
Yeah. Well, so what happened, was yesterday she ended up doing this thing being like, yeah, so I'm out of social media, but, my real life costs money. So, like, can you guys send me money so I don't have to go back to doing social media type thing? And then it made everything else look kind of weird. But this other YouTuber I know, I read an article. His name's Outback Zach. He used to make videos. He does other shit now. But he made this comment being like, no, social media isn't a lie. He's like, you just lied on it. He's like, you didn't have to take 100 pictures. You chose to do that. Whatever you choose to do, that's what it is. He's like, social media is whatever you make it. So whatever your problem with it is, like, that's how you handle it.
How clever.
I saw that and I was like, it's true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I played a character on social media for like 3 years of my life. You know what I mean? Even now, like, I'm kind of like sometimes a quasi type thing. But I mean, yeah.
So you talked about the value of it. One of the things I take a lot of value in, it's not monetizable, but a lot of the videos on my channel were life advice type stuff. And some of it was not important, like friend zone or whatever, and some other parts of it were about ambition, discipline, work ethic. It was
and a lot
about
of masturbation and penis growing. That was like 70% of it.
That's not true, but it is kind of true. Here, I'll touch on that in a second. But a lot of it, like toxic friends is a big thing, right? These guys in high school, they hang out with friends, but the friends are mean to them, and how to deal with situations like that. Loneliness, depression, suicides, scared of surgeries coming up, and people whose parents were not good parents and how to cope with that. And now it's like the rewards start rolling in. People write me on Reddit literally every day, sometimes several times a day, thanking me for advice that I gave them that had some sort of impact on them. And I reply to most of them, but it means more to me than you might guess. Like, oh wow, I feel like, obviously I didn't change the world or anything, but in that little bit I nudged it, in a positive direction.
I relate to that. I was a high school teacher, and the first class I ever substituted for in the 7th grade was the class I watched graduate when I first taught as a real teacher. And so watching kids go through high school, and that's pretty much what I saw, was just one rotation until Epic Mealtime happened. But like that fulfillment, it's like a really strong sense. And I almost feel like what you're doing is even deeper, because it was like a stranger. And you kind of just send the message out there, and then a stranger hits you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like meeting people who know me in like completely random places and just sizing them up and gauging who they think I am, because it varies dramatically. I just flew back from Texas the other day, and I was in the airport in San Antonio, and me and Chad, who works on a gun channel called Iraq Veteran 88888. He gets recognized, and 4 8s, yeah, and that's 4 of them. He gets recognized on the way to the bathroom, and as the guy recognizes him, and he stops, the guy also like catches me and recognizes me. So like I go and piss and come back out, and we're talking to this guy and everything. And I don't remember what came up, but Chad says to him, he's like, "But it's the internet." He's like, "Don't believe everything you read." And I was like, "But seriously though, I am ex-Spetsnaz. I killed a lot of fucking surgeons back in the day." I took ears, scalps, whatever it took. We ran a war of terror over there, my friend. And
he goes, telling you now in this terminal.
Yeah. I'm standing out here in the airport, and he goes, "Oh, okay then. All right, yeah." And I'm just like, "Dude, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you." He's just like, "Okay. All right, well, nice meeting you both." I still think he believes that I'm ex-Spetsnaz, and I have like Serbian ears somewhere on a necklace right now.
He told his friends about that, where he was like, "Yeah." Then he said he's like,
"Nah,
has a bunch of ears," and then he told me he wasn't really Spetsnaz, but that's what someone in Spetsnaz would say.
Yeah,
they would tell you they weren't there.
Choose your own adventure.
Scalps, whatever.
No.
He was so freaked the fuck out. I like messing with people like that.
You do have a good poker face, so I could see how like you could
that's
start
what I was
with,
thinking
like,
too.
Yeah,
you
did have that
probably
straight face.
started looking
I
at you
sold
and
it
gave you a
100%.
little partial smile, and then you just mean mugged him for a second and continued with your.
Oh, I did.
Your
I totally
tail.
did. When I got to the Serbian part, I was like, "Got a lot of Serbians."